So you're a guild leader. By some terrible stroke of luck, or just by sheer determination and will, you now find yourself running a consortium of hilariously misguided online people, trying desperately to make order from chaos. And you were swimming in a sea of doubt about why you're doing it, about who would want to join, about what you could possibly accomplish online with such finite time as what you already have. And then you wind up like me, a seasoned guild leader of over 21 years, questioning why you did it in the first place and what it means to you at all, if anything at all. This video series was initially started twice before, and the reason I did it is because every time I've ever created a music video, the idea was to spread awareness about the guild, to try to bring people into the fold and give them a reason to hop online every night, play the games, enjoy the time, make some friends. That's really what it comes down to. That's why we're all here. We have come to play games with friends. It's a timeless activity, something that you have thought about hundreds of times. How do I get my crew? How do I find my spot? How do I belong? Where is my pub? Guilds on MMORPGs are a endless, timeless thing that have existed for as long as the MMOs themselves. And despite the fact that plenty of people get online every night, hop in with their fun, casual guild, share a few laughs, and hop offline, the reality remains that some people need a little bit more. Some people go seeking actual connections to the people they're hanging out with. Some people don't call each other by their usernames. They know their real names. They know their locations. They know their age, their relationships, their religions, their faults, and many other quirks about the people they hang out with. For most people, the game ends the moment they take the headset off and step back into their lives. But for a precious few of us, it never really ends. Some of us decide to take the reins and stick with it, and our mental health suffers because of it. My name has changed throughout the ages of my gaming community. I've gone from Link to heavy metal to just Jake. After a while, the naming conventions and the facade behind them really doesn't matter anymore. Keeping up with all of it just seems kind of trite. For years, I spent time writing code, trying to craft lore from a gaming community that started on a free shooter game. The majority of that time was spent just hanging out and trying to figure out who I was. I was never popular. Shocker. somebody who started an online gaming community, wasn't popular, and tried to go hunting friends. In the beginning, it really didn't matter who I was hanging out with, as long as I was hanging out with somebody. I found my people relatively quickly. The majority of them were honestly kind of normal. Normal for my age group, at least. Imagine you're a fresh 16-year-old trying to find other obnoxious, edgy people on the internet, and they just kind of keep coming to you. There's certainly no shortage of them. You're never going to run out of odd,
Are you looking to buy?
mostly on spectrum individuals who social interaction and engagement doesn't exactly come natural to. Some of these people are quite fun, honestly. You meet plenty of people out here who are still figuring out who they are, but they're pretty functional. They become admins, take up responsibilities in your guild, begin developing kind of a core to the essence of your group, your guild, your cult. A lot of them just pass through. You'll never see them again. So many of them just fade into obscurity. People who start strong, create ties with you and other friends in the group. They cultivate this position, this popularity. They show up every day for weeks. They enjoy their time. You enjoy their time. They share a lot of memories with you. And for a time, you think, I might actually be kind of happy. I think I found where I belong. I think I have created a place to belong. There's even some essence of, is this what it's supposed to be like? Is this what everybody goes chasing? Then they disappear. It happens over time, all at once, abruptly. One day they just turn vapor, and you never see them again. I have had thousands of members, and of the ones who I have kept, a lot of them surprised me. There are plenty of people who turn up once, you think, I'll never see them again. And they just keep coming back day after day. You develop a pattern with them. A healthy dynamic where you come back night after night. Very seldom is it day after day. You play the games. You create a common goal, a purpose, something to do, to bring you to the end of where you intended to go to. You're looking down the road, visualizing some finish line, some perceived notion of accomplishment. But you aren't just playing an online game. These are just random people on the internet. And Eventually, you come to discover months, years, decades later that all along there really wasn't a finish line. There was nowhere to go. The journey is the goal. You're just here to try to do it as long as possible. That empty sensation, that feeling that you get in the back of your throat, in the pit of your stomach, where you feel like you're heading towards something, gets further and further away, turns into a nagging doubt, like a tiny itch of remorse, where you have to question again and again, what did you do it all for? If you're smart, you put that out of your mind. You don't really think about it. They have their lives. You have yours. You don't need to be there every day to take care of this group. You don't need to see it do anything, go anywhere. You don't need to watch it grow or wither. But you do. Because there is something addictive about attempting to create a cult of personality. If you're good at it, you do that. You do create something. I created something. I didn't do it alone, though. No. In fact, more often than not, it is safe to say that they did it more without me than with me. I have a lot of good memories with this group, this community, this cult has taken so many forms. People call it their home online. There is a tangible reality that you create from this, some facsimile of home that brings you online every day like an addiction, because you do need it. Everyone comes to need that. When you find belonging, you will do anything to keep it. You will embarrass yourself, sacrifice elements of your social life. You will not go to things that you should go to. You will use this name more often than you think you will. You will try to inject it into your daily life. Try to make more out of it than it actually is. You'll even try to craft your personality around it. Some of it is worth it. Some parts of it cannot be replicated in real life. At least not by most normal people. It's not some silly claim that I myself am normal. I have no illusions about that. I'm not even certain for a fact that there is a such thing as normal. Not anymore. You may ask yourself, what is the point of this video? I can assure you it's not to be a downer about this. Running a guild gaming community does have its perks. It is, more often than not, a good thing rather than a bad thing. There is a premium to be paid, though. There's an emotional tax that comes with trying to run something, trying to create something. Saying create sounds so pretentious off the tongue, too. In the beginning, it does start out as trying to attempt to create a thing, but you don't really know what you're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. As a 16-year-old, you don't even know who you are. So it's safe to assume, by most metrics, that probably nobody else does either. By 18, I had already figured out a sad reality that most adults are still winging it just as often as you are. There's this perception among children early on, just some accepted, collected knowledge that there's always an adult around, always somebody to supervise the engagements, plan things, make sure the trains run on time. It's usually not until a little bit later that you figure out that's not true. Some of us get disappointed earlier than others. No one is actually coming to save you. When your life turns against you, everything kind of goes with it. I watched a lot of members over the years who have more or less thrown their lives away for something, someone, a vice. And there's not much you can do for them. You are nobody. You are a gaming guild community leader, which, if you're lucky, may mean you get a donation or two. There's a certain endorsement level with getting money behind what you do. It's a status of sorts. You don't believe me? Look at YouTube. Look at Twitch. Some people are in it for money. You can find a few of them out there who actually can earn something. I won't call it a living, but something. To return to the topic at hand about what this video series is, what this channel is about. It's important to know that, going back to as I referenced earlier, this channel, which you can explore for yourself, is primarily made up of short clips, compilations, music videos. That's really what my interest was. I wanted to take music I enjoyed and craft the video I wanted to see from it. I wanted to insert myself into that realm and create something But it's not really creation. It was interpreting an art created by somebody else. We all sort of imagine ourselves as the heroes of our own story. I went the opposite way with it. With so many commanding presences out in the online gaming verse, everyone comes off as a hero with some god complex that they are trying to live up to, build something from, show off. No, I went the other way with it. I had a villain complex. It was much easier to find people who felt like they were outcast or underserved or just ignored, avoided, isolated. You never run out of those people because they feel like you feel. You do feel low. So do they. You have more bad days than good. Then one day you figure out that's everybody. And that's the reason it speaks to people, is because there are more bad days than good now. That common interest serves to build your community. People sympathize with that. In fact, they empathize with it. Because they can see that you're going through the things they are. My music videos were cute, quaint, but they weren't the thing that drew others to me. They weren't some mystical personality magic, some charisma that brought people over to my side and said, hey, I should hang out with this guy. In the end, that became personal rapport. I had to develop friendship as a skill. And when you do that, when you invest in others emotionally, people tend to notice. You notice that one day your group goes from 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 rather rapidly. The usual notions you have of just hanging out, eating in front of your PC while music plays in the background go out the window pretty quickly. One day you find you can't really hear your music or the show you're watching in the background over the sound of the voices in the channel. It does become a pub of sorts. It does have the energy of a collective household. It does turn into a busy place. Somewhere where you know all the people around you. One day you just look up and the room is full. I've had a lot of that. I've been lucky that I've had a lot of that. The videos on this channel, this series, the things that I hopefully will produce soon, are the start of a new chapter for the Sick gaming community. If you looked any closer into this, if you become curious about what it is the echo of the past 20 years of my life. It is 2 decades of ruminating on bad behavior. It is what happens when you take the road less traveled and wind up somewhere you will not expect to find yourself. My guild has silly rules. My guild has hilarious gimmicks. Things that I myself don't even need to perpetuate to be a commonly understood law. I'm playing a pirate game here because it's one of my favorites, but the assumed code of the sick is much more ironclad than the pirate code that we are cosplaying as right now. Some of them do take a lot of it more seriously than I have. I have taken for granted the things that I've had at the sick. As its guild leader now for decades. Some days that I have entirely forgotten, other people recall with great detail. Some people have memories here that are timeless, that have completely dominated aspects of their real life at that same point. It has painted their world with a sort of rose tint that allows them to recall some fond memories where they were able to achieve escapism and deliver themselves from the mundane world that we all try to get out of at some point. On those days where I remember that, I'm grateful for the experience. I should be grateful. I'm more fortunate than most in that aspect. These are real people who are choosing to waste their day with you. And if you're a good guild leader, that means something. If you're a good guild leader, they recognize that. If you're a good guild leader, they will do a lot with you, for you, to you. If you're a bad guild leader, no, they're probably going to find somewhere else. And who could blame them? With so many choices. If you're not trying to do anything special, then why are you here? Why bother? Now, this video series is very different from any of the ones I've made before. My voice is in it. Unfiltered. Unmasked. I never liked that. There was something about that that felt like exposing oneself. Bringing you into the light. I never wanted to be in the light. It did not taste good to me. It felt like having every inch of my being put under a magnifying glass. There's something very vulnerable about the position. It was never something I wanted. Maybe I've stopped caring. Maybe I'm not sure how much I have left to lose over this. I used to feel that answer was a lot. I used to think I need to do this right, or the ride is over. A young guild leader takes one look at what he has and says, how can I preserve this at all costs? That leads to many mistakes. In my time as guild leader of the sick, I have made many mistakes. I have ended friendships that I did not want to. I have cut off lines of communication that I thought should not be severed. I have broken bonds that I thought were unbreakable. Not all of it was a mistake, though. Not all my decisions were ended, or did end, with poor results. Some of the things worked out triumphantly. Some decisions were good. Some people were brought into an advanced stage of position in the guild who deserved it. Some people did find a purpose in the guild. Cultivated some sort of meaning behind it. Crafted what you could call a small legacy from it. That's what we're all hunting. Small legacy. I used to think the small legacy was going to be my writing for the guild. I created an entire code for the guild. With some help, of course. The guild code was strictly adhered to for many years. Some of those were a fantastic idea. It's the innovation that breeds trust and friendship between comrades. Setting a code. Creating law. These are things that help sustain the growth that you are receiving for your efforts. If you have no code, if you have no core, if you have no trusted allies inside the group, there's not a lot to hang out for. Being principle-less never really leads to good results. Being fickle and principle-less leads to high turnover. Nobody wants to be political. Nobody wants to be ethical. They just want to play a game. They just want to have fun. But those people don't stick around. No. Very seldom do those people actually wind up doing anything. Being anyone with you. Creating anything. You have to know who to look for. You have to know what you're looking for. That's much harder than it sounds. I thought I knew what I was looking for. I thought I was certain about what the results would bring. I thought I knew what a friend looked like. Nothing on here is really certain. With a veil of anonymity directly over the front of the screen, it's incredibly easy for people to slip in and out without actually leaving any real trace of who they are. And young people are afraid to Young people are afraid to show themselves. Even in an age of social media where your face is out there very early. Even in an age where everybody is hunting a reason. Looking for a purpose. Developing talents. People still have things that they want to achieve that seem intangible. Most people don't really have the notion that they want to be popular. It would be fine. It would be welcomed. But it's usually not a primary directive. It's just something that they hope happens along the way. No, what most people are looking out here what most people hope to find out in the ether of the internet are a few loyal allies. People who appear as if they are holding a mirror up to themselves. They want to know that others are out there feeling the same thing they are. Sharing similar experiences. Discovering the same roadblocks. People want to know that they can suffer with someone. In the end, that's kind of why most people create a guild. To suffer with others in a fun environment of their choosing. That is why I have abandoned my writing goals. I used to write more than I should. For a guild that most days I felt didn't want to read it. Certainly some of them did. More than a few of them have told me what they thought of it. I have appreciated those efforts. But it's just not the medium anymore to pursue. I'm a writer by trade. But I'm a guild leader by profession. been doing this for the majority of my life. I have rules on my guild. Important ones. Humorous ones. If you misspeak, you get a tag. Many guild members will watch this video and insist that I receive a tag for the way I've misspoken in it. At multiple points. It's a running gag now that when you're in trouble, you should call 911 and not your guild leader. And you must understand that sometimes the reason for the rule is that we need the rule. It's humorous. But unfortunately, it has happened. So we don't play with it anymore. The power of tiny influence is real. I have once had tiny influence. That's what this video series will be. A way for me to avoid wasting my time writing new code, new amendments, new philosophy. This will explore old philosophy made new. Once upon a time, I thought I knew what I was doing out here. I thought I knew how to lead. And it turns out that no one really knows. You just kind of pick it up along the way. It doesn't always make sense. The conventional wisdom of it all goes out the window early. When you recruit your third adult approaching 40 who tells you daily about their issues, and you realize they're winging it too, suddenly the reality is much sadder than it looks from the outside. Everyone has problems. Everyone is searching for something. Most of us still don't know what we want to be when we grow up. The world is incredibly small when you're on the internet. There really is no hiding from it anymore. Despite your urge to be the best, this misguided notion that if you produce results, people will flock to you. That is not actually the truth. Sometimes nothing brings them to you. You may not have a personality that sparks inspiration from others. You may not be able to deliver on the promises that you've claimed. You may not be that talented when it comes to this. It is a skill, be it ever so humble. No, this video series is geared towards a very specific type of gamer. This video is geared towards the serious community leader. The person who thinks they do understand it. The one who knows they will do whatever it takes to build community. This video series will be a collection of lessons and lectures about what it means to be a guild leader, what the identity of your guild should look like, what mission is worth pursuing. This video series will explore the ugly reality of what all this is. It is a dying art form. While community will never go out of style, it does change shape. My gaming community has changed shape multiple times, depending on the crew that ran it, depending on my mental health at the time, depending on how low I got. Successes don't always line up with what yours look like. Some of my most successful days as a guild leader were during the lowest points of my existence. Jobless, partnerless. I even felt friendless, surrounded by others. The painting changes on you while you're looking at it. It comes down to you to interpret them for what they are. You have to be able to read the writing on the wall. See the signs of what's in front of you. Learn to slow down and appreciate what it is you're dealing with. It can be tough to know what to look for. What looks like a failure to everyone around you can sometimes be an unexpected victory. They don't have to line up. You don't have to be a jack of all trades in this. You can have a focused vision of what you want. It can be simple to accomplish, or wildly convoluted. Oftentimes you'll have a mix of both. This video series, if I continue it, which we don't know that I will, is to finally speak about what it is to make a guild that works. And though there are some days that I feel that my community does not work, they somehow always manage to pull me back home. They act as a beacon, guiding me back towards something familiar, comforting, welcoming. They feel like brothers and sisters. People who share in your goals and successes. People who equally lament the failures. Those who want to challenge you and lift you. It cannot be overstated how important it is to invest in those you bring into your fold. Without them, there really is no guild. There's no such thing as being a one-man army out here. This video series will guide you towards a gentler path of leadership. It will answer, hopefully, some of the questions you've had if you've ever wondered, how do you do this? What are we supposed to be doing? Hopefully it'll serve to build your confidence, give you some insight into what this is, whether it is for you, whether it's worth time or energy. It may even serve as a warning, a sort of red flag standard to let you know that this isn't for everyone. There are very few perks. You can't make a living out of it. You cannot accrue reputation from it. It won't bring you any more accolades that a certain trade or craft couldn't do for you. If you're lucky, you will find a few. A handful of people who stick around, who look to you for some piece of advice. People who want to be around you. People who can see community with you. Who feel like you have earned their trust. People who will go the distance for you. That's what you're looking for. That's what we were all looking for once. You're looking for the squad. The boys. The cool kids club. Your goals aren't hollow or lofty. They just make sense. You want just enough to call your own. You want a chance to turn your hobby into a calling. You want to feel like you can have fun and still make it worthwhile for everyone involved. I'm not making you any promises. Truthfully, you probably are wasting your time. After all, what's special about you? What have you ever done? What have you seen? What have you accomplished? You're just like the rest of us out here, wasting your time in the online gaming sphere. Your voice is one of 1,000 others. 10,000. 50,000. You aren't any more clever than anybody else. You're not special. You don't have a talent that somebody else can't find or cultivate. You're not any better than them. You're not more worth knowing than they are. But you are different because you did decide to create something. You did decide it was worth the risk. Worth maybe failing. worth wasting your time. And this video series is for you. Anytime someone joins my guild, I give them an edgy little speech. Something that I've done now for 20 years. That in the beginning I thought was the stupidest thing I had ever heard. It was like a talk show host introducing a guest. Some silly initiation ritual that I did to make people feel like the price of entry and admission was worth it. Something about that stuck. Because I did it every time. Soon they came to expect it. Soon they demanded that their recruits received it. Soon it became part of their daily ritual. It was a mantra, repeated ad nauseum. A code talk greeting that was opening the wings and folding them into us. It is a requirement now. If you're in the group, you've received it. You have been officially welcomed, greeted, observed. Everyone stood to attention, saluted smartly on their way in the door. I'm going to give that to you now. You, the viewer. So that you can enjoy this process as much as the rest of them, be it ever so silly. Welcome to the sick. My name is Heavy Metal, but you may call me Jake, as it is my real name. If you have any questions, hesitate to ask. Here at the sick, you're going to hear a lot of pseudo-racist, ageist, and sexist humor. You should take none of it seriously because none of it is. And you'll be fine. Without further ado, what is your name? And where are you from? This one line of delivery established a expectation that we didn't want them to remain anonymous, that we wanted to get to know who they actually were, not just some anonymous line, some username. We didn't want a pseudonym for who they were. We wanted who they were actually. Grown to be. I wanted to get to know them for who they were. I wanted to see real people, experience real things with them. Catch a glimpse of who they really were when the expectations of society faded away. The peer pressure in the guilds of school subsided. The disappointment and demands of their family out of sight. wanted a place where you could be yourself. Even if that person was mostly voiceless. It wasn't a requirement for the sick. Authenticity was required. And in that aspect, that respect, I can say we succeeded to a degree. I have known many people, watched many grow, age. Some changed for the worse. Truthfully, there are just some people who don't belong in guilds, let alone shouldn't run them. This video series will teach you how to discern the difference between someone who does belong and someone who doesn't. It will teach you how to not make my mistakes, of which there are many. It will help guide you to a smoother experience on the road forward, no matter where that takes you. When I'm done, I hope you will be able to take what you've learned here and apply it to your guild or gaming community. It is my hope that it will set an expectation for what you need to do to thrive. And perhaps even dissuade some of you out there who are convinced you are the right candidate for this and are in fact too busy for it, too complacent, too hostile. This series will be mini games. Today it looks like Sea of Thieves. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? Much like the gaming landscape, it is constantly changing. But now you know who I am. You ready to take the wheel?